The only person who could have hurt me was her, Telly Savalas admits at 72 years old. The man known as Telly Savalas was really born Aristoteles Telly Savalas in Garden City, New York on January 21, 1922. He was born to Greek immigrants and raised in a strict, traditional family that instilled in him the work ethic, perseverance, and respect for authority that would serve him well throughout his career. Savalas was the epitome of tenacity during his arduous journey to Hollywood. He held down a number of jobs and served in the United States Army during World War II before enrolling in Columbia University to study psychology. While he did some work with the United States Department of State's Information Service in his early years, he finally followed his passion for acting and broadcasting and found success in both fields. The 1959 episode of Armstrong's Circle Theater called And Bring Home a Baby was Telly Savalas' big break into professional acting. Savalas got her start in television on this CBS program, which was recognized for offering exaggerated stories based on real-life incidents. Telly was still mostly unknown to him at this point in his life. Despite the intense competition in the industry, his early role highlighted his innate charisma and screen presence, which would come to characterize his career. This chance meeting was the first step on the path from bit parts on TV to becoming a household name in Hollywood. Here he honed the self-control and technique that would carry him through his lengthy career as an actor, as well as the rhythms and demands of filmmaking. By acting as a guest star in a plethora of popular series from 1959 to 1967, Savalas painstakingly amassed an impressive television resume. Naked City was one of these grim urban dramas. Breaking Point and The 11th Hour were two medical and psychological series, while The Untouchables, The Fugitive, and The FBI were criminal shows. He was featured in chic espionage thrillers like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Western classics like Bonanza. His versatility as a performer was on full display in each appearance, which gave him the chance to try out parts ranging from complex supporting characters to ruthless criminals. During this time, Savalas refined his technique, being known for his ability to portray nuanced danger, charisma, and intensity. He was able to network with producers and directors through his many roles, and he became known as an actor who could improve any production he was a part of. One of Savalas's early recurrent roles was that of Brother Hendrickson in the hit private detective show 77 Sunset Strip. Two charming private investigators in Los Angeles solve crimes in this series that was popular in the 50s and 60s and featured a healthy dose of humor, mystery, and suspense. Savalas proved in his portrayal as Brother Hendrickson that he could pull off difficult roles with ease by juggling dramatic and humorous elements. He further diversified his on-screen expertise and proved he could adapt to a wide range of storytelling styles, from urban drama to action-oriented adventure, with appearances in Acapulco, an NBC adventure series that explored exotic places and international intrigue. The 1965 epic The Greatest Story Ever Told, directed by the late, great George Stevens, featured Savalas as Pontius Pilate, and the actor's adherence to realism and skill was on full display. The daring decision to go fully bald, which would become one of his most recognizable characteristics, was his for this part. Not only did he show his physical dedication to his roles in this decision, but he also showed a willingness to embrace daring visual modifications to stay true to his characters. Playing Pontius Pilate, a crucial person in the account of Jesus' death, gave Savalas the opportunity to demonstrate his ability to manage intricate, prominent film roles with his television work. The role demanded him to convey authority, moral turmoil, and gravitas. His ascent to Hollywood celebrity began with this performance, which catapulted him from the realm of television acting to that of respected presence in big motion pictures. Savalas's ascent to stardom was gradual and remarkable, even though he didn't break into acting until much later in life. During the early 1960s, he frequently appeared in supporting roles on screen, typically as villains or strong guys, which allowed his deep voice and intense gaze to shine. He became known as a serious actor because to his roles in films like 1961's The Young Savages and 1962's Birdman of Alcatraz, the latter of which nominated him for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. These parts highlighted his talent for giving nuance and sympathy to characters, no matter how cold or complicated their moral compass. Throughout the decade, Savalas kept pushing the envelope in film, making cameos in films like The Dirty Dozen, 1967, Kelly's Heroes, 1970, and Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969, in which he played the renowned villain Ernst Stavro Blofeld, a James Bond villain. But Savalas's real breakthrough came on television. He joined the cast of the 1973 CBS crime drama Kojak as the magnetic investigator Theo Kojak, based in New York City. He became an international superstar after the show's 5 seasons ended in 1978. Savalas has crafted one of the most iconic figures in American television history with his ever-present lollipop, fashionable attire, and catchphrase, "Who loves ya, baby?" Gritty realism and socially conscious plots in Kojak, which tackled themes like drug misuse, corruption, and poverty, were not only entertaining, but also revolutionary. The role cemented his position as one of the most esteemed actors of his time, earning him both a Golden Globe and an Emmy. The fact that Savalas continued to play the part in subsequent hit TV movies after the show ended is evidence that the character was an integral part of his career. In addition to his acting career, Telly Savalas had success in the music industry. His surprisingly calming voice propelled him to stardom in the recording industry, and he found success in Europe with CDs that combined singing and spoken word. As proof of his widespread appeal, in 1975 he hit #1 on the UK singles chart with his rendition of If by Bread, performed in his distinctive style. Despite his frequently stern on-screen character, Savalas had a special gift for connecting with viewers via his voice, which had a gentler tone. Telly Savalas wed Catherine Nicolaides, his college sweetheart and longtime girlfriend, in 1948. Having known each other for a long time before agreeing to tie the knot, their connection had strong origins in their youth. This union mirrored the cultural and societal norms of the time, which valued stability and the aspiration to start a family after navigating the challenges of college and entering the workforce. They were married for almost 10 years, but problems arose that they couldn't overcome, and they eventually filed for divorce in 1957. Their bond and shared history didn't help matters. In the years that followed, Savalas's perspective on relationships and family life was undoubtedly shaped by his early experiences with love and separation, which had a significant influence on his personal development and emotional resilience. Telly Savalas wed Marilyn Gardner for the second time in 1960. Gardner was an accomplished theater teacher whose love of learning and performing matched Savalas' own expanding interests in show business. Together, they fostered an atmosphere that encouraged innovation, self-control, and achievement in their 2 children. They dealt with the stresses of Savalas's burgeoning acting career in Hollywood, with the goal of preserving a harmony between my public life and my own family times. In spite of their mutual commitment and the happiness their children brought into their lives, discord and individual struggles surfaced throughout the years, and in 1974, they filed for a divorce. During this time in his life, Savalas showed how he could love deeply, no matter how tough things became, and how difficult it was to juggle a prominent job with caring for a family. Telly Savalas entered a new phase of his personal life marked by stability and recommitment in 1984 with the marriage of his 3rd wife, Julie Hovland. They expanded Savalas' role as a father and highlighted his devotion to family in his later years by having 2 children together. An understanding of cooperation based on mutual respect, shared objectives, and life experience was evident in this marriage. While Savalas pursued his acting career, which included his legendary television work, Hovland remained a supportive presence and provided a nurturing home atmosphere for their children. Their shared history shines a light on Savalas' capacity to form and sustain important relationships, as well as his personal development, resiliency, and search for joy in the company of loved ones. At 72 years old, the legendary actor Telly Savalas, who was instantly recognizable by his distinctive bald head and gravelly voice, took an uncommonly open moment to discuss the one person who had the power to touch him emotionally. With a tone that was equal parts reverence, nostalgia, and undeniable devotion, Savalas confessed that she was the only one who could do that to him. The confession came as a shock to many fans, as Savalas had a reputation for being a harsh, no-nonsense actor throughout his career. This was true in his numerous film roles as mobsters, detectives, and authority figures, as well as in his iconic portrayal as Kojak on television. On the other hand, this was the first place anyone had ever seen him in a more vulnerable, gentler light. He seems to have been profoundly affected by the woman he mentioned, Stephanie Powers, who was an outstanding actress with a captivating personality and a luminous aura of charisma. Savalas continued by saying that she had a special talent for getting past his infamously icy demeanor. As he reflected on the unusual emotional closeness he had with her, he stated, "No one else ever managed to touch me like she did." He reminisced about incidents that demonstrated the profound influence she had on his life. Emotions brimming with surprise, kindness, and mirth, and discussions that deeply affected him. It was a revelation and a testimony to Power's impact on Savalas's heart and intellect that someone could affect him so profoundly. After all, he spent decades displaying assurance and control. Further, he went into detail about how their relationship was multifaceted, stressing that it was not simple or superficial, but rather built on deep mutual regard and understanding. He conceded that she could see through my facade. She was able to tell when I was being the typical macho man and putting up barriers. She persisted nonetheless. There was a certain way she could make me feel noticed and understood. Despite his renown, awards, and larger-than-life public persona, there were times when he depended on human connection to feel genuinely alive. These statements exposed a rare weakness for a guy whose reputation was characterized by strength and independence. Savalas' remarks also spoke to a more universal issue, namely the importance of trust and closeness in the lives of those who are always in the spotlight. Finding someone who could truly penetrate the defenses he had constructed over the years was truly remarkable for an actor who was always surrounded by friends, colleagues, and admirers. He reflected that it wasn't merely about feelings of love or appreciation. Something more profound happened, and I felt like I could stop pretending and be myself. Telly. Although brief, his confession provided a rare window into the private emotional life of a big Hollywood personality. Ultimately, there was a touch of melancholy in the air, a realization that these uncommon relationships are not permanent. Something about Savalas's voice conveyed a hint of melancholy as he spoke, as if to say that moments like these are fleeting and precious. Truly, he confessed, he doubts he would ever encounter somebody comparable to her. That kind of impact would never be possible with anybody else. Savalas shared a profound truth about his relationship with Stephanie Powers in those few comments. But he also shared a truth about love, vulnerability, and the incredible influence that one person can have on another's life. Tragically, Telly Savalas lost his lengthy fight against the aftereffects of prostate and bladder cancer on January 22, 1994, when he was 72 years old. In Universal City, California, at the Sheraton Universal Hotel, a spot he had grown to love, he passed away. For the latter 20 years of his life, he called it home. During that time, Savalas became an enduring fixture at the hotel, rechristening the bar Telly's in his honor due to his heavy use of the establishment's social areas. He was adored by the hotel staff, customers, and several friends who would congregate there due to his constant presence, as well as his charm, friendliness, and larger-than-life attitude, all of which were captured in this homage. As Savalas grew older, the Sheraton became something of a stage for him, where he could keep up the charisma and charismatic performance that had brought him fame in the first place. Seated in the George Washington section of Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills Cemetery in Los Angeles, California, Savalas was laid to rest after his passing. It was fitting that Savalas be laid to rest in this famous cemetery, which is home to the tombs of many famous actors and actresses from Hollywood's golden age. Because of Savalas's lifelong devotion to the Greek Orthodox faith and his pride in his Greek ancestry, his funeral was a very private and touching ceremony that took place in St. Sophia Greek Orthodox Church. Family members and friends were there to pay their respects, including his brother Gus and third wife Julie, with whom he had spent the last 10 years of his life. In a testament to the strong bonds he kept with his extended family even after his divorces, Savalas's first two wives, Marilyn and Catherine, were present at the funeral with their children.